Joining us today, the new defensive coordinator of the Highland Cavaliers, Matthew White. Coach, thanks for spending a little time chat with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You were here with us last year working with strength and conditioning, defensive line, recently promoted defensive coordinator. I think most folks that follow our program know that part of your coaching history. Fill people in a little bit on your background, where you're from, and your journey to Wise.
Yeah, I originally I'm from Billings, Montana, so I'm a long way from home. I started coaching at the University of Montana Tech. From there, moved on to the community college ranks in California, where I spent a good amount of my career. Uh, Became a head coach at that level, which was a unique opportunity for me because I was really young at the time. I was only 26 or 27, so I got kind of skipped a few steps and got thrown right into the fire. And when all that stuff wrapped up, I basically moved out east to Kentucky Christian and came here. So it's kind of cross country trip and journey, but it's been a fun ride so far.
Well, Coach, as you said, not your first rodeo is in head coaching or coordinator position. Talk about maybe some experiences you had there at your previous stops and how you can carry that over here to UVA Wise to be successful here with the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think the number one thing that is going to get carried over and hopefully implemented at the highest level is the realization that we're only going to be as good as we are close. And we're going to try to get these guys obviously vibing with each other and really working together in the same direction for the same goal. That's the number one thing for me. Second thing is just, obviously keep it simple and don't mess up a good formula. We've been historically pretty sound here on defense, and that's something that we would like to continue in the future. We will bring some intensity to it and some prep stuff. We'll quiz our kids a little bit more and maybe change how we teach some things and walk through some things and a little bit more accountability. And, hopefully all that stuff works out well for us.
Schematically, we've been pretty multiple on defense. We have ran mostly a 4-2-5. I guess you could say kind of as our base, if there is a base defense for us. What's your plan there schematically, and what can we expect from UVA Wise here when we kick it off next month?
Schematically, we would like to be a carbon copy of what we've been. I'm sure there'll be some wrinkles, but we'll stay true to who we are. I would like to play a physical brand of defense and make sure we commit to stopping what a team's good at. And so sometimes that might take a little bit different personnel package or something. But our identity is our identity. We're going to be who we are.
Coach, taking a look at your defense, we'll start up front. I think you got a couple of guys there that really stand out with a lot of experience in Siobhan and Rondre. Talk about those two guys and kind of setting the tone up front, as you mentioned, with physical play.
Yeah, I mean, any football, offensively or defensively, all starts up front. I think when you have those type of guys up front to control the line of scrimmage and occupy double teams and basically make everyone's job behind them easier, it's a tremendous advantage. I think that for us, the important thing is we know that those guys have played and produced. We need to find a 2 deep and a 2.5 deep and a 3 deep to keep those guys fresh and championship football, you need talent, depth, and experience, and we're either going to recruit talent or we got to develop it. And hopefully we can accomplish those things, especially at that position. Because you don't want to have a huge drop off, which I don't think we do at all. But I guess that remains to be seen if we can get those younger guys kind of built up to match. I think those two guys, they give us tremendous leadership. I know that's not talked about enough. Like for them, from a maturity standpoint, is phenomenal and amazing to have on this defense. I'd like to get to the point where they're kind of running things and player-led type deal. But, we'll get there.
At the linebacker position, again, two names really stick out, and that's Jones and Williams. They've played a lot here in this program. They're older guys. Talk about those two guys and maybe some other linebackers you have that you're looking for big things here as we start camp.
Yeah, those two are probably they're going to be our two most important guys. They're asking a lot out of the linebacker position. They're going to have to ID formations and make the calls and the checks. Obviously their experience along with Fields and some of the front seven guys is going to be invaluable. Hopefully they can mentor some of the younger guys. A guy that we're excited about, we've been playing with a little bit since he's been here, and he's played a couple different positions, is Mason Polier from Union. He's going to be a good one for us, we think. Remains to be seen. We got to give him some live bullets back there, but we're again, talent, depth, and experience, that'll be a position where we've got to develop that and keep recruiting that in the future and hopefully get some of these guys to take the next step in their career. And I think the same thing's true with Fields and Dre. They're not done. There's still more, football talent there and ability that needs to be unlocked. So they need to keep pushing and make sure that they're the best version of themselves as well.
Looking at the back end, Malcolm Gallagher's back at cornerback, and then folks who may not know, in addition to being defensive coordinator, you're also our safeties coach.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about the back end and how we're looking there.
Back end is I think we're long and athletic. Some of these, we have some new faces back there, which is always, something that at the small college level there's always going to be one or two positions that have, some new faces coming in. I think we got a lot of young talent that needs some game reps. And I think in the spring, what we were doing in the spring gave them a lot of live reps without having to think. So that's been beneficial. So a lot of kids with playing experience, but we just got to narrow that down, and kind of like the other positions, we need a 1, a 2, and a 2.5 deep. And so I think some of those spots are going to be up for grabs. And I know the guys will come in and compete, and we'll get them to do that as well. I think that's the exciting part about fall camp and having a normal fall camp.
Coach, question I love to ask everyone when we sit down and do these in the preseason, whether they're head coach or assistant.
Yep.
If I'm sitting down with you, end of November, season's over, you've had a successful season on defense, what happened for the defense to be successful?
Number one thing, our kids were bought in and they were playing for each other. I think that's the number one thing. We played only the other team. We didn't play any off the field issues. We didn't play against our playbook or against penalties. It was just us versus the other team. And I think that's basic common sense football, but people often forget that. Like, if you can just play the other team and not have all these other issues, you're going to be pretty successful. I'd like to think that we were multiple enough and had enough wrinkles and stayed true to our identity that, that led us to some success. But again, it's going to come down to blocking and tackling and just playing mistake-free football or getting off blocks.
Fans, that's new defensive coordinator Matthew White. Coach, good luck. I'm sure we'll catch up at some point throughout the season.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for doing the interview. Appreciate you.